Okay guys, now this is something that I've never actually tried to do. I read about it in a book. I was like, hey, that sounds pretty simple. Let's give it a shot. Hey y'all, welcome back to Live Free, Live Wild. Today, hanging out in my greenhouse, getting some fresh air. It's a little cold out, but I got a little space heater going out here, and it's nice and quiet, peaceful, sun shining. I'm gonna do a quick video, show you how to make a bushcraft candle out in the woods. Plus, there's seems to be pretty good lighting out here. So let's get started. I'll show you what we're gonna use and what you'll need. You can do this at home too, but all right, let's get started. So what you're gonna need for a bushcraft candle: a log, some carving utensils. You can do it with a regular knife, but I'm gonna use my carving set. Some kind of wick. This is fat wood, or you could use twine. This is wax twine. It's got wax all over it. A good knife, maybe a saw, some pliers, a heat source, some golf wax, and something to melt the wax in. Now, if you was out in the woods, you could do all of this with a knife and some kind of cordage. Now, you can do natural cordage that you find in the wilderness. I'll show you how to twist the cordage, but you'd have to find the cordage on your own, like some kind of inner bark, or willow bark, or dry grass, something like that. But I'll show you how to twist it when you find those things. And you would need a heat source and the wax. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to find a nice log, decent size, about a pop can, soda can diameter, and then you're going to, this one's dry, there's in my fire pile over there, my firewood pile. This one's got a natural split in it right here, so I'm going to use that to my advantage. And you got to determine how big you want your candle. I'm only going to cut halfway through this. Here's my natural split. Yeah, we'll use that split. So here's my natural split. That's going to be half. So one half, the other half. So I want to cut right here, halfway through. Take and try to stay in line with that cut. I'm going to meet it on both ends. Hold on, let me get something to hit this with. Okay, so we split this out. Now what we're going to do is we're going to hollow this out. Okay, whatever size of the candle you want, and you can use a regular knife. Just make a V notch, like, you know, just a straight cut that way and a straight cut down that way on both sides. Now you would get a square candle, but that's fine. What I'm gonna do, since I have it, I'm gonna use a spoon gouge so I can make my candle round, and I'm gonna gouge out from here all the way up. Okay, You don't have to have this. You can make a square candle if you have to. It's not gonna hurt anything. So I'm just gonna clean up my log here. Make sure all this is nice and flat. And this is all about, you know, figuring out how to do things on the fly, dealing with the issues, figuring them out, overcoming them, you know. So I don't have a pencil, I can't mark it, so I'm gonna do it the best way I can. Okay, so I got these cleaned out pretty good for not being a person that carves. That ain't what this is about. Probably won't show a whole lot of the carving because you guys said you wanted to keep them short. Plus, my techniques are probably wrong, so I don't want to show you wrong techniques, but I'll show you a little bit of the carving. I achieved the goal. It was to make a cavity in the wood to pour wax into. That's all I wanted to do. A piece of this came off when I split it, so I don't want my wood or my wax to seep out, so I'm going to put that back when I wrap it. I'm just going to use the inner strands of a paracord. You could use, you know, anything in the wild that you can, you know, inner bark from a tree, you know, willow bark, that usually works pretty good. These vines, dig up some vines around a pine tree, those are really good. But I'm gonna get this tied together and then I'll get back to you. I got this all tied together. This is the mold. Good thing about this is once you do it once, you can keep this mold at your camp and you can make several. So that's the cool thing about it. So now we're gonna have seepage. Try not to, but you know, it happens. So I'm gonna heat up some wax and get back to you when I'm ready to pour. Get your wick ready. Carefully pick up your wax. Slowly pour it in. And I'm making a mess. Oh yeah, that didn't work at all. What the hell is it with me and wax? Me and wax just don't get along. Okay, so I had a leak. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, since I had a leak, I'm gonna fill all this in with cold wax. solid cold wax. All these cracks. So that way it won't leak out. And like I said, this is about trying to figure out things in a situation. You know, when you can't go just run to the store and grab something, you got to figure it out on the fly. You know, you might not have wax, but you might run across some crayons, especially if you're in an urban survival situation. Looks like all the gaps are filled in, so let's try again. Hopefully this works. The wax is still warm. Get my wick in hand. That way I'm ready to drop it right in. Okay guys, now this is something that I've never actually tried to do. I read about it in a book. I was like, hey, that sounds pretty simple. Let's give it a shot. What I think happened is I think it soaked, because I'm using dry wood, I think it soaked into the wood. Now this time I actually melted a layer on the inside to try and keep it from soaking into the wood. I don't know if it's solid yet, but I'm very interested to see what's going on in there. So we're gonna open it up. Hopefully it's done. So we're learning together. See how it shrunk? It sunk back down in there as it cooled. If I don't get it on this one, this is something that we're gonna have to revisit. I'm gonna have to research it some more and see where I'm going wrong. Or maybe wait until spring and actually use a live branch instead of a dry branch. Like I said, I pulled this right out of my firewood pile. I think after doing this once or twice already now, even if I were to use a live branch, I think I would still coat the inside first, because wood is porous. Maybe I'm pouring it too hot. I don't know. Let's see if this one works, because I let the wax sit a little bit before I poured this one, instead of pouring it as soon as it melted. Trying to do this without breaking it, because that's what happened on the first one, and it's starting to split. Looks like it's doing it again. Looks like it's soaking into the wood. I didn't let it sit long enough. Yeah. It's leaking out now. This might be a revisit. Yep, we're going to have to revisit this one. That one might have worked too. I just got impatient. Dang it. I didn't want to let it sit too long either. I wanted to pull it before it got super hard. I think we're going to revisit this one come spring. Well, that's what it's about. It's about learning. And I'm going to have to learn this one. I think it's a really cool thing to know. Man, I wish that would have worked. Oh well. You win some, you lose some. If any of you try it, tag me in it on Instagram. I'll put it in the description of this video. Yeah. See if you can get it to work. I'm gonna keep trying this. We'll get this one figured out. So, live free, live wild. I'll see you in the next one. Check out the description below. I'll put the Instagram down there. See y'all.